Over 10 years ago, I used to work at a video game store that had a stop in it and some games. I worked at $7.25 an hour, and I could only work a certain number of hours in a week, or else they would have to give me benefits. At some point, a kid came into the store and started asking me questions about Sonic the Hedgehog, I believe. I gave him all the advice I could. He ran out of the store very happy and came back and gave me a soda. What I failed to mention was this kid was missing one of his arms. I had treated him like any other kid that would come into the store, and he, feeling like I did something far and beyond what I deserved to have done, gave me a soda. Honestly, that soda tasted amazing, and I would do it again if I worked a job like that. But it just goes to show you that these minimum wage jobs can be very thankless, but some days there's a glimmer of hope and joy and appreciation that people will look at you and see that you are doing something beyond the norm. This helped inspire my game Minimum Wage Heroes, which is about fantasy heroes and villains coming from a fantasy world into our modern day setting as minimum wage workers, as the power that they use to fuel their abilities has been cut off from them, and they are forced to lead mundane lives, not able to get high-paying jobs, and forced to try and make do and survive on minimum wage employment. Here is the first time showing this game in the light of day. The Keep It Simple system. It's a D8 system where basically you just have to roll a die and get higher than a 2+, 3+, 4+, whatever the stat is. At character creation, you have 4 stats. You have muscles, reflexes, smarts, and social. That's your sort of like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and then charisma. You have your stats of health, wealth, power, and luck. Now, you have wealth is how much money your character has. This is for things like, oh, you need to check to make sure that you're able to pay rent on time, or buy some sort of device or a technological thing, or anything that you need for your characters in this session. Power is what you need to use for your spell casting, and power actually fluctuates throughout a session. As you use more and more potent abilities, your power will go down until you are unable to cast spells. And then you have your luck here, which is sort of a way of auto-succeeding a failed check and forgetting specific items, so you can actually like spend it as a resource. Character creation, you select an attribute, your attribute scores, you get 1 of your attributes at a 4+, 2 at a 5+, and 1 at a 6+. The die that you're using to roll is a D8, and you'll roll 2d8 often, sometimes taking the highest, sometimes not. Every turn of combat, or not every turn, but during combat, you will roll for initiative. You roll everyone rolls a D8 to determine who goes first. Whoever is the highest goes first, and then everyone can sort of like, I think you can probably put in here popcorn initiative if you want, or you can just go down the list or around the table however you want. Movement, I created a movement table here where we talk about inches, square hexes, in-game measurement, which is feet, and theater of the mind. Jumping, for any action, roll reflexes plus any spent power depending on your abilities, and that's how far your character can jump. Then you have stuff about healing, stuff about fighting, and I did have social as your psychological attack type thing that you can do. Melee, range, magic, and social attacks, yeah. Down here, these are sort of your attribute checks. I gave them a rating based on what I thought would probably be the best probability-wise. So if you are rolling a die and you need to get a 2+, that's basically you're the most powerful character in the game at that point. You'd be equivalent to like a deity or demigod, things of that nature. And the 4+ you start with is you are a master in one of the 4 attributes, and then you're trained in some and some of the other attributes. The average is mostly restricted to your normal people. Damage is a flat number. I said a nuke here is 8 because that's basically like you're vaporizing an individual, but like don't take these with a grain of salt. I was a lot younger when I wrote this. And then I did have here how much points should it be for XP points, should it be for raising a stat, gaining a power, getting an ability, and things of that nature. Now, Minimum Wage Heroes is a setting for the Keep It Simple system. The setting takes place in modern times, where an event has brought people and creatures from a fantasy world into our mundane one. Unlike the fantasy world, the mundane world forces its rules and laws of nature. Magic is extremely hard to cast, and even the most simple display of power can wear down a user. This is why these people are transformed into normal human beings and lose most of what made them special in the fantasy world. They hide amongst other humans trying to survive with no ability to go back to their old lives. They are forced to take on menial jobs in hopes of surviving. Even the most powerful demon has to find a job and pay rent. I have a variety of archetypes. They have manifestation, which is what happens when you manifest as what you look like in the fantasy world. Then you have your abilities, which can be used and which are special traits that your character have that are always considered active. And then you have powers, which you have to spend power to use. I created multiple different character types. You have humans. Humans can vary in different forms. You have hero humans, which have your sort of like standard human stuff. They have their weakness is just being human. When they rest, they regain health at the standard rate. And their main feature, which is their key ability here, is that they are realistically normal, which means that when they roll doubles on a roll, they do not reveal themselves, so they don't manifest. Instead, they are considered to have done something extraordinary, an extraordinary feat of human athleticism or ingenuity. Then you have the various powers that they get, such as like genre savvy, where they can get hints from the GM. Sense manifestation, which allows them to sense people who are not normally human. Then you end super dodge, which helps them dodge ranged attacks. You have magical humans, which as a magical adept, they're able to identify spells. They do manifest, so I probably should put something in here where they're like surrounded by an aura of magic. And then I have stuff like offensive magic, utility magic, and magic sense. Most of these don't have the full list of abilities I would give them normally. That's because I was still working on this. You have paladin humans, which are representative of your divine warrior type characters from things like Dungeons and Dragons. They have healing touch, they have holy strikes, holy auras, and the power of prayer. And one of the ones I really like doing was the Chosen One archetype. This was a prophesized person to become a hero that saves the world. And as such, they have like prophetic visions that help them along. There's predestination, deny the destiny, and stuff where you can reroll or spend luck to change things in far as dice results. We have chain of events, which is you can cause a chain of random events to do X damage to a target, where X damage is the amount of power spent. I also tried to throw in some like specialty weapons and things of that nature, but that sort of was like work in progress. We do have demons. Demons and angels, or devils and angels, as I put here. Their special ability was that they can consume souls, and it will turn people into lifeless husks. This is how they gain their power. You can make deals with the devil and stuff of that nature. I liked making it deal with the devil, dance with the devil, and duel with the devil. And I also gave them some weapons for for their muscles, reflexes, things of that nature. Magic shit was what I gave them for their smarts, and I don't know why. Vicious Truth, though, was something I really liked. Angels, they have wings, So you have things like their weakness, demonic weapons, and defiled ground, whereas demons was blessed objects and things of that nature. Anything that has invincible, they can ignore 1 damage per power that they spend, and they can't not use it if a weapon was their weakness. So can't use it against holy weapons, and angels can't use it against demonic weapons, which makes them very powerful against each other. Angels have the guardian feat, which allows them to sort of become a guardian angel for someone else. They have an angelic voice, angelic presence, and holy wrath, and these things allow them to do things for their allies and against their enemies to sort of buff and debuff, as it were. I did add supernatural human hybrids, so we have things like vampires, werewolves, ghosts, and zombies. I don't remember what my players played as. I remember we had one person who was playing as a chosen one at one point and one person playing as a zombie, but I don't know any of the others. But like your vampire had your thing of they gain power by drinking a pint of blood. They are able to get memories from people when they feed from them, and they can make people into thralls. We have the werewolves, where they can manifest and they look like they've got razor sharp wolf teeth and claws, and they turn a little wolf-like. Weakness silver, obviously. They gain power per pound of raw meat they eat. And they are a hunter, which means they can target a person and they'll be able to track them more easily and do more damage to them. Sort of your like tanky type DPS character, if you're familiar with MMO terms. You have the ghost. They are going to become more translucent and gaseous when they when they become manifest as a ghost. And their weakness is salt, because I was watching Supernatural at the time. And also, they gain 8 HP and power when they scare people. Now, they're always dead, so when they reduce to 0 HP, they do not die. Instead, they disappear and will reform within 8 hours near their corpse or an object where their soul is bound. It can be reduced by 1 hour per power spent, unless their corpse or object their soul is bound to is salted and burned. Fun stuff there. They can take possession of people, they can do telekinesis, and they have invisibility. They don't have intangibility, just because I felt like that would probably be a little too overpowered. Zombie was one of my other favorite character types I created. I especially like as they manifest, their limbs and flesh become more rotten. Their weakness is beheading, which basically just kills them. Maybe I'll add a different weakness on there, maybe just fire. But they get HP and power from eating brains. When a zombie dies, as long as the body is still intact, they'll revive at 1 hit point in an hour. And then any dismemberment, excluding decapitation, will be mended by the body parts coming back together. Now, they have a lot of stuff like increasing their strength and their intelligence because they have brain power. But the main ability I really liked is their detachable limbs. The user can detach arms and legs, as well as their eyes. We did that in one of my sessions where someone used their eye, placed it on the wall, and they were able to use it as a security camera, which was fun. And so it was very creative what my players are able to do with that. This system here is very much a work in progress. I haven't touched it in a long time. I really enjoyed coming up with it. I'm not sure if it'll be attached to this video or not. Sometimes I really think I'm going to put this out as a PDF. Other times I want to flesh it out even more so that it could be like more than just a simple role-playing game. So consider this my pitch. Do you like the idea of minimum wage heroes? What's your favorite thing about it? What's your least favorite thing? Maybe if enough people give me feedback, I will feel more comfortable putting it out fully into the world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one.